Hello, everybody.
Oh, it's Friday.
Yeah, yo.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm looking forward to this weekend. I am. I really am. Even though I won't rest a whole lot, I'll be resting more than I do during the week. So I'm looking forward to the weekend. Man,
Indeed.
how y'all two doing today?
Friday.
Yeah, Friday. Living a dream.
Well, we spoke this week about possibly U.S. entering into the Iran-Israel conflict, and apparently we might possibly be doing exactly that. We're going to listen to a report from these people, and I'm going to specifically make sure I pick all left-wing media from now on for one very important reason. In case any of the commie clowns come into the comment section, we can clap them across the fence by saying, this is your people saying it, not ours. So there you go. Pretty easy solution to just about everything. All right, cool. Let's hear what they got to say.
The attack plans now for Iran. It says it may be a last-minute call whether to pull the trigger.
Yesterday, Iran's supreme leader rejected Trump's appeal for unconditional surrender. Instead, the country is vowing to retaliate if the U.S. gets involved.
That's right. CBS News' Jared Hill has the latest for us this morning.
A seventh day of fighting between Israel and Iran, and CBS News has learned President Donald Trump has approved plans to attack Iran as well. That's according to senior U.S. intelligence and defense sources. But so far, no decision on if he'll launch strikes.
I like to make the final decision 1 second before it's due, because things change. Especially with war.
Sources say President Trump is waiting to see if Iran will abandon its nuclear program.
Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I've been saying it for a long time. And I think they were a few weeks away from having one.
The State Department says it started evacuating non-essential personnel and their families from the U.S. Embassy in Israel. It's warning Americans to leave Iran now, as both countries launched more strikes overnight. Iran State TV confirmed that Israel hit a heavy water reactor used in nuclear production. Israel says a medical building was hit by an Iranian missile. Yesterday, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowed to win in the end. Iran's supreme leader said his nation will not surrender, and he threatened irreparable damage if the U.S. gets involved. American officials say Iran has prepared to retaliate with strikes on American bases in the Middle East.
It's their war. It's not our war. And I hope it doesn't become our war.
From the White House gates to other cities around the country, protests grew Wednesday, opposing any U.S. involvement in the conflict. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Now, what I really love about leftists is they are anti-war conveniently. Y'all weren't anti-war with the Ukraine-Russia. You were all about that war.
Yep.
You wouldn't mind if we got involved in that. In fact, you said we should because Russia. We said we could because Iran, and that's different. Okay, anyway, but I digress. Here's my prediction about, or at least my assumption about the signing off on the plans to attack. I believe there is a caveat for if they ever strike first on our base, we get involved. Yeah. I don't think he's going to purposefully step in on behalf of or with Israel on this. I think the reason why he's holding, otherwise he would have already acted. If it was about Israel and protecting Israel, he would already put our troops in there. I think the caveat is if Iran feels froggy and decides that they need to do something more to get our attention and they attack our base, y'all are erased. And I mean, gone. Okay, gone. Carpet bombed, place leveled. That's my belief, because I think if it was about Israel, he'd have done it already. Thoughts?
Yeah, I think, as I read earlier, that he's given them 2 weeks. So 2 weeks takes us around the 4th of July. So I believe within that time, I believe that, he's a chess player. I believe Israel is going to do something that exposes themselves for causing a lot of the conflict over there. And I believe that Trump is going to allow them to do that. So, they're pushing for this war, but he's going to allow Israel to expose themselves as causing a lot of this stuff to kind of draw us into the war. So then he could say, look who did this. They're trying to draw us in. We're not going. I don't think we're going to go to war.
Lee, what you think?
He's got to turn his mic back.
What you doing, boy?
Oh, sorry.
There you
So
go.
for Bibi Netanyahu to do this, considering the fact that he's got a whole slew of scandals that's piling on top of him, and then for him to pivot to this Iran deal, is very much a tell. So I think that that for Bibi to then bait Trump into helping, is kind of a farce. I think that, like Michael said, that Trump is a 5D, 6D, 40D chess player, and while Bibi's trying to round out his scandals and throw them under the rug, Trump's going to do another art of the deal kind of move with Iran and ultimately say, look, we can't have you guys have nuclear weapons. So here's the deal. Take it or leave it. And if you don't, like you said, Marlon, you touch one of us and it's on.
It's over.
So
that's the only way I would allow or even think about us, because at this moment, right, he's simply talking to Iran.
Mm-hmm.
No ultimatums on them. If you don't, this is what we're going to do. He never said that, which is why I don't think he's going to enter into the conflict militarily. But having said that, the mere fact that he's talking on behalf or through Israel with Israel, and Iran is taking offense to that, it tells me that Iran has already decided that it wants to be in conflict with us. Now, I can't blame us if we go toe to toe with it. I just don't want this to be a war going on behalf of someone like Israel.
Yeah.
That is the last thing I want us to be identified as going into war with. Either we're going to protect our own and our own interest, or we're not going.
So how would then, I mean, because that would be the ultimate pivot for Trump to say, no, Iran, you hit us. Therefore, forget Israel. Now this is between you and I. So how would Trump, because Trump would have to pivot that and completely separate any sort of allied ties with Israel, for him to then say, look, Iran hit us. They hit our boats. They hit our base. They hit our planes or whatever. We have to strike back. This has nothing to do with Israel. This is everything to do with Iran taking the initiative to hit us first. They hit first. We need to hit back. Forget Israel. Screw Israel. How? What do you think would be the spin? Because he
That's
has
exactly
to do that.
what he would say. That's exactly the spin. Okay, it's like this. If I know that I have an allyship with Israel, okay, and I'm not stepping in on their behalf militarily to do anything, all I'm asking is for this to stop and that to stop.
Right.
And one of those two people decide to come and look at me and said, you better shut up before I pop you in the face. And I'm like, okay, hear me out. If you decide to pop me in the face, this will not be anything about Israel anymore. That'll be about me and you. And I'm not Israel. I will jack you up like in a heartbeat. I will erase you square off the planet. So don't even try to include me in this. I'm just telling you, this is what I would like to see. Now, if you decide to hit me while I'm just standing there, I'm done with you. This is no longer, it can't be about Israel because you hit me.
Right.
Yeah. Now, if Israel decides to strike on my behalf, I'm not stopping them either, but I'm not asking Israel to step in when it's between me and them either.
Yeah, I think it'd be very hard to sever the ties with Israel because we're so entangled with these people that even if Trump said, I'm only doing this on behalf of America, nothing to do with Israel,
they'll think it is.
Yeah, it's the optics. They're going to think it is because you have organizations like AIPAC. You have a lot of organizations that are tied to Israel operating in America. Hell, you have congressmen with dual citizenship sitting right there in Congress with dual citizenship with Israel and America. So yes, it'd be easy for him to say this has nothing to do with Israel. But the optics in itself, the American people aren't going to buy it no matter what he says.
There's another individual who chimed in on the idea of the war.
Lindsey Graham?
No.
Ted Cruz?
No.
Ted Cruz?
No.
Damn.
No.
We're naming all the war hawks.
Well, this one isn't a war hawk, but their take on what the soldiers should do has me thinking if they've lost every bit of their marbles since leaving a certain organization. Okay.
I think I know who it is.
Now, when you hear this, y'all can tell me if she makes sense, if you agree or disagree. I'm going to let y'all figure that out. I already disagree. I'm putting my 2 cents out. I disagree. So you all tell me what you think about what she's about to say.
LG19 writes, serious question. Will there be jobs or community military members can join when I get a dishonorable discharge for not contributing to delete people or my body for the interests of a certain foreign nation benefit? I love this question. I do believe that if war in Iran is on the agenda, and that appears so, get dishonorably discharged. Who cares? Who cares? Why should you go die in a foreign land? You now have the benefit of 2020. You can see, think about those men and those women who died because they were pitched that they were serving their country because there were weapons of mass destruction, right? They were serving their country because the Taliban, they were serving their country, whatever. And these people gave up their lives. And ask yourselves, for what? And the answer to that question is for the elites. They're like toy soldiers. And I would have said a few weeks ago that Trump would never do that to you. He would never just throw you into an Israeli war. But right now, our planes are flying in the sky, and things are going nuclear. So I don't have that confidence anymore. And I'm comfortable with people being dishonorably discharged because the dishonor has come from our politicians.
All right.
Bro, you're the military man here. I'm the civvy.
Well, a dishonorable discharge isn't as easy as she thinks. You know, there's certain ramifications. You know, when you took the oath, you swore an oath to defend the Constitution, you know, a country, and take all orders from the President of the United States and all officers appointed above you. So pretty much you can't just say, screw it, I'm not doing it, because it doesn't work like that. You know, you have the Uniform Code of Military Justice, you have jail time. There's a lot of other things that are involved in that. So it's not like you just saying, I don't want to go fight. Okay, you can just get out dishonorably. It doesn't work like that. You know, that's a hard one, you know, because you signed a contract. You took an oath. Can you argue that your oath is to the United States of America? Yes. To defend the United States of America? Yes, you can argue that. But just to say you're not going to do it and take a dishonorable discharge, it doesn't. It's not that easy.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's murder, fraud, or desertion, or anything extreme like that is grounds for dishonorable discharge. Am I right?
Yes, Leavenworth, jail time, all of that.
Okay. So if that be the case, then she's asking, hear me out, to this brown buffoon is asking people in the military to do is to violate your code of conduct and ethics in order to retaliate against codes of ethics that you disagree with. So put yourself in jeopardy and your future benefits and everything else as a form of retaliation for a war you don't know that you're actually going to get into at all. This is the lunacy of some people that are calling themselves conservative. Now, we all know Candace was never really a conservative. Candace is what we would call a grifter and a master at it. She started off on the left, grifted to the middle, grifted a little more to the right, and now she's trying to grift back over to the left like she was planning to do from the. And we called this 2 years ago. We called it 2 years ago. You can go back and watch it. Okay.
I remember the episode. It's called Powder Puff Patriots.
Powder Puff Patriots. Go back and look at it. We're telling you, we called it then. But she is encouraging military men and women to pretty much do mutiny in order to get out of the military for something that has not been set in stone to be done yet at all. Because hindsight. Now, I don't know if you can consider yourself an intelligent human being by thinking what you're saying is so radical that it must sound really good. But here's some news for you, Candace. Just because you have 4 million subscribers does not give you extra brain cells. In fact, it removes them apparently because you're not executing any of the ones you have. You are asking people to do something so asinine and insane because you don't care. Your words were, I don't care if you get dishonorably discharged. I know why you can say that. You ain't the one getting dishonorably discharged.
Do you know what a dishonorable discharge does to your life? That you might as well be a felon with a dishonorable discharge.
But so you're literally blacklisted from anything socially related?
No, well, you're pretty much blacklisted from any well-paying job. You know, they look at that as you being a quitter, you not sticking by something. Okay. And the first thing you're going to ask is, why were you dishonorably discharged? You don't see a lot of people get dishonorably discharged. You don't.
Right.
It does happen, but it's not like one of those things like you see all these people. There's a list of people that happens to. So when they see it, that's a red flag, and they're going to ask the question, why? And when they ask them the question, why did you get dishonorably discharged? Because I refused to do what they told me to do. And they're going to be like, oh, you can't follow orders. We can't hire you here.
If I may play devil's advocate first, a quick second with that scenario. What if the person who was dishonorably discharged said, I stopped under the auspices of the fact that I was going to participate inside of a war that I believed was not in the best interest of America?
Well, if you go to a liberal establishment, it may work, but most people are going to ask, did you sign a contract? Did you sign a contract? Yes, I did. And I agreed to the terms of that contract, whatever, the terms are, I agree. Now you can argue the fact that, going to foreign countries and fighting foreign wars on behalf of another country isn't in my contract. You can argue that, but still it's just that dishonorable, that whole dishonorable thing. A lot of companies frown down on that.
Here we go. With or without administrative board hearings, these are the typical reasons for discharge. Mm-hmm. Expiration of service, mm-hmm. Failure to meet physical standards, mm-hmm. reaching the maximum age limit, high tenure, disability, dependency, or hardship, pregnancy, parenthood, personality disorder, medical conditions not considered disabilities, physical or mental conditions that interfere with military service. And mind you, these are just for discharge. Convenience of the government secretarial authority, voluntary redundancy due to funding cutbacks, or for example, unsuitability for military service, misconduct, drug use, misconduct, commission of a serious offense, entry-level performance and conduct, resignation only for officers, reduction in force, entry-level expiration, punitive discharges, bad conduct discharges, either by special court martial or general court martial, dishonorable discharge issued by a general court martial only.
Yep.
If discharged administratively for any of the above reasons, the service member normally receives an honorable discharge, a general discharge, or under oath honorable discharge conditions. Yep. To receive honorable discharge, blah, blah, we don't need to know that. A dishonorable discharge is a punitive discharge that can only be handed down at a general court martial after conviction of a serious offense, such as felony or desertion before an enemy, drug distribution, sexual assault, or murder. This retard, Candace Owens, just advised people to try and get a dishonorable discharge. And if you read what you have to do, she's telling them to make yourself a criminal. A criminal, so you don't have to go abroad to become a criminal.
And that's why I said it's very hard to see a dishonorable discharge. It's very rare. You do have cases, but it's very rare because that's high level. That's like sitting in front of the Supreme Court of the military, pretty much. That's big.
But isn't, like, Candace has a reputation of being pro-black, and what's the demographic breakdown of black men in the military? I would assume it's pretty high.
No, they're getting there. They weren't that high, but they're climbing up.
Well,
right. So
yeah, I can speak for my MOS. So I was in a combat MOS, an infantryman, and the black, percentage in there was very low. In a platoon, you might have had a platoon out of 30 dudes, you might have had 3 black dudes in the whole platoon. So.
But at the same time, it's like she wants to change the culture. She wants to change black culture, but then she's pushing for criminality.
She's also pushing for the Super Bowl excellence, so she doesn't know what the hell she's pushing for. I agree, AJ. Free them from the bonds of life. I'm all for that. We could free them from this mortal coil. Have no problem freeing them from this mortal coil. I will be for that in a heartbeat. So I'm with you. Yes, free Iran. But as for that, look. As for that bumbling buffoon, and I know AJ is her, that's his girl and all. I get it. But I'm going to speak sideways about her because that ridiculousness, she has gone to the point of lunacy at this point. Listen, whatever she was before, she ain't no more. She has completely given herself over to illogical standpoints and illogical placements. She is in the side, in the pocket of certain individual that she should never be in the corner of and having their back. Like, listen, you now back Andrew Tate, who just had a sit down with one of the biggest whores on the internet. Right? That's your boy. What? He could never do that. And he sat down with Bonnie Blue.
Oh,
taking pictures with her kneeling down and opening her mouth and all this nonsense. But he's not a predator at all. Right? And then you go back up Harvey Weinstein, who just got convicted again. So no, this take is one of the most asinine ones. And again, President Trump never said that he has any plans of attacking Iran. And I seriously believe that it's because he has ideas of not doing it unless they hit first.
Yeah. And he said that, and he said that. He said if they touch a hair on one of our people, it's over. Mm-hmm. Iran knows that. That'd be the worst mistake they can make. So,
but see, the thing is that I know Iran's ideological principles and their worldview. Like their whole worldview is global domination for the sake of Allah, and so Allahu Akbar, here we go. And so they will get frosty, and it's not me predicting the future; it's me understanding the pattern of how this worldview works. And
when it comes to Iran, if they really was froggy, they would have did it while we was in Afghanistan and Iraq. They used to have like foreign fighters from Iran coming over there. But if Iran really wanted to lay it to America, they could have sent their whole military over to Iraq and Afghanistan while we were sitting over there. Easily. They could have did whatever they wanted while we was over there, but they didn't.
Well, part of it, they also look, as much as they talk, they know better. Okay. Yeah. Which is why they go after and they deal with. They're hoping to. This is what I think they're really hoping, is to have the majority of people look ill on America right now. Mm-hmm. Israel's in a bad light. If America goes to side with Israel, especially with the whole Gaza situation, they know that they can make America look even worse. Much less if they we step into that conflict between them and Israel, we look twice as bad. I think that's what they're hoping to do, is to goad us into that, which is why I really hope he does not even remotely step into the middle of it until they feel froggy. Because he will play into their hands. He'll play into not just their hands, but the people who here are radically left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He will look like the one that's just trying to start. I thought he wasn't president of no wars. Now he's getting into a war. I think he would be better served if he just stayed this one out. Let them do what they got to do. Hell, even if they decide to go and get nukes, let the UN deal with it.
Yep.
Right? And if the UN's over it, then let the UN deal with it. But which is why I think we should pull the whole way out of the UN, pull out everything out of that so that we don't have a say. And if Iran gets nukes, let Iran deal with that and let y'all deal with that. We over here. Now, if Iran messes with us, we'll be the first to nuke the mess out of Iran so they don't have no more nukes.
Yeah, and pull everyone out of the Middle East. I don't care who's over there. If any soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines that are in the Middle East right now, ambassadors, every footprint America has in those countries, you need to pull them back to America. That way, if they do attack, we can say, "Hey, ain't none of our people over there." Now, do you really think Iran's going to attack the mainland? No. That's destruction for them. They know this. So pull everybody out, and if those countries over there want to fight and defend each other and take each other out, let them do it. Just get rid of the innocent people, like I always say, the women, children, and all the innocents. Get rid of them. Get them out of there.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want to see that happen, to be honest.
Look, I would be all for a full military pullback, a global military pullback.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine how much protections we would have for any kind of riots we had here? You know that all your military is here. Not a single place on earth has one of our bases with our people in it. You couldn't harm us properly that way. You would have to breach a whole lot of water, one, to get here. And even if you have a lot of presence here on the ground, we will have more.
Yep. Every
So
blade of grass.
I don't know that he will, but that'd be a novel idea.
No, but I'm just saying I would like to see Iran try and breach mainland and be like Allahu Akbar, and then
It'll last an hour.
yeah, I mean,
you
I'm not
know?
denying that. I just find it funny that if he thinks he's that gung ho and that Allah will be backing him, then you can try.
And another thing too, we have to cut ties with certain countries over there, Israel or whoever. We just, hey, look, man, we don't want no part of this stuff. If you got beef with this country or you have beef with that country, that is your beef. That is your problem. Don't get us involved. Don't drag us into your wars. We don't have a problem with them. The average American person doesn't have a problem with an Iranian, or the average person doesn't have a problem with a Russian. The average American doesn't care. It's our government that has the problem with it, and they draw us into it with their propaganda telling us that these people are our enemies. What makes them my enemy? I'm going to keep asking that. What makes them our enemy? Because they say death to America? Okay. What are they going to do about it? They're just talking. But they put up all this propaganda, draw the American people into it with their energy and all this stuff. And now Americans are screaming who our enemies are because the TV told them they're our enemy. And I don't believe they are.
Yeah.
That's my belief.
As for that earthquake, that's just all of them bowing to pray at the same time. That wasn't an earthquake.
The Ayatollah farted.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm under the auspices of the fact that I think ideologically the worldview is definitely an enemy to Americanism. Like everything that the Iranian worldview stands for is antithetical to the Constitution, and so in that aspect, I think that's the enemy that we have to be taken into account. But these people live by that, and so again, I just kind of sort of want to see it. Not for the sake of the human death toll, but just the fact that they think they can try.
Yeah.
And when it gets shut down in an hour of some turban head touching down on Virginia soil or whatever, you're done. You're done.
You wouldn't even need the military.
No, because they got scurvy at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe just let them be, man. And as long as they don't mess with us, don't mess with them, and let them be over there chanting whatever they want to chant. Cut off all ties, cut off communication with them. They're over there screaming to themselves about death to America. You're not going to come over here and do anything.
I will say though,
if you want to talk it.
I will say that the only problem for us in terms of not abiding by what it is that we need to abide by is the Lend-Lease Act that we have with Israel, and how we're 99 years or whatever signed with Israel to be an ally. But I don't know how far that allyship goes. Can we say, yeah, we're allies, guys, but we're not going to really help you all out. This is on you. Can we do that based on that Lend-Lease Act?
I think so. I hope so.
Me too. But
okay. I'm going to say it. Mm-hmm. We need to cut ties with that.
I agree.
Any allyship. Yes, I'm agreeing.
I agree, but because of that Lend-Lease Act contract, breach of that contract will do. I don't know what it'll do. People don't explain that part. But if we do violate our terms of agreement with whatever this definitive allyship is based on that Lend-Lease Act we have with Israel and with Ukraine, what is the defining factor for what includes allyship in that regard? That's my question.
I don't think we should care about whether they believe or feel or how they think about us after that point. We are at a tipping point in America. And our way of living right now is under a certain type of attack. And we are too separated in different areas globally that do not require our presence and our attention. And we should turn that inward so we can fix what's going on here. I'm not saying even if we did that, we can fix it, but we're not paying enough attention to the stuff going on here to even remotely try to attempt to fix it. We are dealing with people who they hate us, first of all. Then we deal with people, all they want is our money. Mm-hmm. Then all they want is our resources. At some point, we got to say, you know what, people, I'm done. Get off my teat. we're done. We're done. We have stuff going on. We need to figure it out. I don't see how that is not a logical thing to deal with when you realize that you can't run a house like that. I can't be outsourcing all my time to other people's kids and not see after mine.
Right.
But my kids are starting to suffer.
And it's not logical because, again, a lot of the members in Congress have dual citizenship. So when your ties are still to another country, you don't have loyalty to this country. You can't have dual loyalty. You can't. It's either you're loyal to America and our interests, or you're loyal to this country over there in its interest. You can't do both. Or and if you have dual citizenship, you can't put this other country's interests over ours more. Right. That's what they're doing. They're putting their loyalty to Israel over their loyalty to America. They're putting them first, while Americans are eating out of trash cans. Americans are homeless. We got freaking people dying of all types of diseases, while they're over there partying it up, living a good life. They laugh at our taxes. They laugh at our way of life, while they're over there living it up, except for the bombs and stuff.
Looking at you, Ilhan Omar.
Yeah. No, Israel doesn't need us. They want what we have, though, but they don't need us. No.
No,
they haven't needed us for a long time. The one person they do need, they don't turn to anyway.
Yeah.
So no, they don't need us. In fact, there are no countries on earth that need America. They have become dependent on us because we have made it that way. Mm-hmm. We care. But when you look at our streets and you look at our buildings and our airports and all this stuff and the people that we've given money to, we have allowed our country to become closer to third world while theirs grow up to first.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That part.
Okay. Now you tell me, if I lose resources while trying to help everybody else, how am I going to help anybody else after a certain point? I won't. And can I depend on them to help me out? Nope. They will not come to our rescue. In fact, they will just flip us off and ignore us.
Yep.
Not a single one of them has lifted a finger to come help anything here. So why would we think that happened if we were to be broke? They're doing that now when we have something. Imagine what they do when we are looking to them for actual help.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to do that.
Nope.
And y'all might say we're greedy or we're selfish. Okay, cool. We're selfish. That's what we are. I'm going to sell fish for now until I can sell beef or something later. But I'm going to sell fish for now. That's okay. But I think we have to stop worrying about what the world thinks about America, because we don't live in the world. We live here. We got to stop worrying about what they believe, what they want, what they think we should have, and stop with. But again, that's part of the whole global agenda thing of them trying to get that push. So I don't think it'll go away, but I think we can at least minimize the damage it's going to do for at least a little bit still, so our kids can grow up in it, for crying out loud. Mm-hmm. But with the neocon people and all the ones that are war hawks and want this to happen, they are unfortunately the ones in charge right now.
Yeah, and what they do to the average American is, if you don't support Israel, if you're not 100% behind Israel, you're an anti-Semite. If you don't support Islam, you're an Islamophobe. If you don't support this, you're a thisphobe. If you don't support this, you're a racist. And they put us all in these little groups to where they kind of force your hand to support. You know, and I don't want to support anything. I just want to be left alone here in our country. I want our resources to stay in this country, support the people of this country, and leave us the hell alone. Protect us from any outside influence, protect us from any outside of attacks, which that is your job, and stop sending us to fight over in some foreign country and leaving our own country open to attacks. If we bring our resources here, protect the people here with our military, we never have to worry about those attacks.
It'll be an interesting next couple of months, I'll tell you that much. Because I don't believe this is going to end up well, providing we do step into this. I'm hoping that we don't, and if we don't, we'll be better. We'll be fine. It really does depend right now on what exactly that caveat is to his attack. If the caveat changes, then we might be in trouble. So the definition of anti-Semitism changes every day. It sure does. Right now, anything you say against Israel is anti-Semite.
Yep.
That's just what it is now. Now, what it actually is not that. It's disparaging, hateful, bigoted, that kind of stuff. You know, the traditional buzzwords, conversations towards a Jew, not Israel, a Jew. Big difference. Massive difference, because not all that live in Israel are Jewish. FYI. In case you all know that, but they're quite diverse. You won't get thrown off a building in Israel, what you will in Iran, if you're gay. And I think if you're black too. You can't really walk around the streets of Iran if you're black. Same way you can't just go around China doing certain things. They'll do the same thing to you there. So
yeah.
Didn't if you all knew that or not, but now knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe. As for this this thing is going on right now, we'll keep an eye on it. I don't know that we can be prepped really, because I think, to your point, bro, I don't think they'll hit a mainline strike. The only people I think that will really be affected is the military. That's it, the military men and women, because if they do get deployed to fight up front. But I do think he can do a drone strike and do just as much damage without putting foot on the ground too. So I mean, he might have that in mind. His attack might not be even military foot soldiers. It could easily be some long range missile, or that's why he's deploying them close by so they can do a shorter range attack. He doesn't have to put boots on the ground. We have enough trajectory missiles that, tell me if I'm wrong, bro, but we can smack them from here if we want to.
Oh yeah, I mean, we have technology out there that people don't talk about. I think it's called the Rod of God.
Yeah.
You know that thing, and that thing's floating around up there in the stratosphere somewhere. They just boom, boom, and we have the technology.
It's like a tungsten rod that just fires into a target. Is that what it is?
Yeah. It's like, we can pull it up, but it's like it's done with centrifugal force. So it's like a rod, and it's all centrifugal force, and it flying so fast that it hits the ground, and it's almost like a missile hit it. It just wipes out everything. So I mean, they're playing with fire if they even think about doing anything. But again, just look out for these so-called insider threats and these planned attacks that are probably planned. Don't think for a second that Operation Northwood has gone away. It's still there. So don't be surprised if you hear about, something happened and it was Iran that did it. And they'll put that all over the propaganda media to make everybody think that Iran attacked us, to get all the American people behind going to war with Iran. Don't be surprised if it happens soon. Yeah, the rod of God ain't no joke, dude.
They say there's one dude saying it's not officially built. It's not real.
Oh, okay.
All right.
When they say it's not real, believe it. It's real.
It's real.
That's what I meant.
But
it's real.
Okay, it's real. All right. Don't worry about it. In fact, you know what? No, it's not real. It's fake. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
and if it does happen, it didn't happen because it's not real.
It's a conspiracy theory.
It's a conspiracy.
You know.
Hey, if it happened, it happened. If it don't, it don't. All I know is this: no one, since the day that Japan did the stupid stuff they did, nobody took that froggy leap again.
I want to be optimistic, but them turban heads.
Yeah, but nobody took that. Even the Taliban didn't take that chance.
No, I know, but when you have somebody as passionate as the Ayatollah, who's like, "Death to America, the boats. We must target the boats."
Look, again, they've been talking about Iran having nuclear weapons or possibly having nuclear weapons since 1984. If Iran, and I'm not backing Iran up anyway, because I know what they say about America, but what I'm saying is if they had those capabilities and they really hate America and the Western lifestyle so much, they just, the jihad, Durka jihad. Why not? Why haven't they used
Durka?
Yeah, Durka Muhammad Ali jihad. Why haven't they used them? Think about that.
Do they have the knowledge to, though?
No, they're not dumb. Don't think they're a bunch of cave dwellers over there. I think they're pretty smart over there, but if they had the technology since 1984, they've been talking about this. Why haven't they used them? If they hate these countries so much and they have the ability, they have the capabilities, why not use it? Just do it.
Global pushback?
But why would they care? They believe in jihad anyway. Hey, they're going to their maker to get their two virgins. Why would they care? Why not just do it?
Because part of their whole mission is world domination in terms of their ideology or in terms of worldview. So they want to be able to infiltrate and execute that plan. And you need people in order to dominate. And So
okay, so why are we arguing about nuclear weapons if they're never going to use them anyway? Because they need people to dominate.
just on an intimidation factor alone, like we have the nukes.
Yeah, it's all intimidation, man. It's all just more Iraq war, weapons of mass destruction propaganda. I don't believe they might be they have nuclear abilities for, you know, power plants and all that, just like every other country. But I don't think they're building any missiles over there to take out the world. I don't think they're doing that, because if they did, they would have probably did it by now. I believe that. That's just
AJ. I agree, and I have the perfect way to get it. The delivery system, I have it. Actually, we've been shown how to do it before, and this is how you do it.
Blackjack Persian.
Oh gosh.
Turka Allah, Muhammad Jihad. Bakala, Muhammad Jihad. Bakala, Muhammad Jihad, Allah Turka, Muhammad Jihad, Muhammad Jihad. Oh, shit. Come on, Gary.
Dad,
You have the power. Dirk Allah.
That is hilarious. I love that movie, man. Durga.
And that is how we take and bring them what we need to see. We send an actor in.
Yes.
And we have a ton of actors that want to go over there. I
Sean
suggest that's who I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Send Sean Penn, and he can put on his mustache and his beard, and he could say exactly that and give them what needs to be given, man. I mean, come on.
Durga. But you know, to AJ's point about sending pork chops, you know, Blackjack Persian did that when I forget what. There was Muslims and he was shooting them. He would dip the rounds in pig's blood and start executing them. And they said he stopped all their attacks. So maybe we should just send a box of pork chops over there that look like chicken. And then when they eat it, we tell them that was pork.
And y'all can say, come back later and say we're being disrespectful to the religion. Okay, we are. And your point. Anyway, anyone who can call death for my death because I believe something different than y'all lost respect. And I don't have no respect for you. So get over yourself. You ain't that important. Okay.
Right.
Really, you're not. And you're also not above ridicule. Like nobody's above ridicule on this earth, not a soul. So yeah, get rid of that thought, especially on this platform. Heck, you asking for a lot. You begging for plenty to come here and tell us to be respectful about people that don't respect us. You funny. That's some good jokes right there.
And even the mega MAGA crowd. Hey, Trump's not even above it.
Yeah.
He's not safe either.
Yeah. If I find out tomorrow Trump's on the list, I'm blowing him up.
Yeah.
Look, we will blast that man from now till kingdom come about being on the list. Trust and believe that. We are not so enamored with him that we ain't gonna absolutely dog walk him. And I mean dog walk him.
Fact.
Y'all gonna think we never liked the man. Watch.
And we do like
find
him.
it out. I
You know,
better not find it out though. I'm saying. I better not find it out. We'll find out eventually. Yeah, have you seen him lately?
Oh,
that man looks rough. Sean Penn looks rough.
They all look dicey.
Wow. The last time my son was in a movie and he looked fairly young in that movie, and that was only like 8-10 years ago. Now he looks like he's 100 years older.
Yeah.
That's his lizard skin falling off because he's a lizard under all that skin.
You know what? He talks a lot more like I Am Sam now.
He does. He does.
He's like a living embodiment of I Am Sam.
He's regressing.
Yeah, she's my child. She's my child. She's my child. She's my child. Yeah. Actually, we should go to war. We should go to war. We should go to war. War's bad. What a war. That's how.
I like communism.
We need communism. We need more stuff. Give us communism. Yeah, communism good. And anyway, that's how we work now. We'll be back Monday. Maybe a lot might change by then. Don't know. TikTok is supposed to go away in 90 days again?
September 17th.
They got another 90 days of breathing space.
I've been hearing stories though that it's already been bought because there's been some changes. If you got the latest update, but I can't confirm nor deny. So
well, I can confirm nothing at all has changed because I'm still getting the same damn criteria put on me. So nothing's changed.
Yes.
A lot of the algorithm and TikTok's cracking down, as I told Marlon backstage, they're cracking down on the fake accounts, the multiple accounts. So they're going to start cracking down. So if someone has a fake account that has your face on it and you report it, they used to say, oh, we found nothing wrong with this account. Now they're actually going to take the accounts down.
Wow.
So Durka, Muhammad
We'll
Ali.
I'm gonna start a whole new account called Durka. Watch me.
Durka. That'll be funny as heck. Durka.
And that's all I say. Whenever I do my replies, I don't use English. It's just straight Durka.
Hang on a
In
second.
different intonations and different inflections, just Durka. Durka. I'll get my first ban with my first reply. I guarantee you money.
Oh yeah.
That won't even last two. That won't even last 2 subscribers.
Speaking of
down immediately.
Speaking of Durka.
Is there Durka out there?
Oh yeah, you'll like this one. Check the chat.
Jihad.
Bringing him up, and now.
Oh man, what is this?
Oh, it's a YouTube video. That's even better.
Oh man.
Don't drop that Durka. Hey, don't drop that Durka.
Oh man. Hey, he could do it the same way that black people could use the N-word.
Yeah, that's true.
It's all allowed.
Yeah.
That's too rich. So anyway, we'll be back come Monday. Y'all don't go too far away. If you haven't yet, make sure you take some time to go over to if you're not on Rumble, go over to our Rumble, get it boosted up. Then we need to get that subscribership up to about 3K. We're almost there, but we're not there yet. So just make sure y'all grab that. Make sure you grab it. Otherwise, Mr. Lee.
Like, share, comment, subscribe, and we'll see y'all Monday. Have a happy weekend. Peace.